YouTube is launching paid courses directly on the platform. And so education-based channels, rejoice. You're getting another income stream on YouTube. They're expanding creator monetization. In a recent interview I did with YouTube's VP of Creator Products, Amjad Hanif, we talked about the fact that YouTube is getting into paid courses that will exist directly on the YouTube platform. Now, while we don't know what the revenue split will be with this new creator monetization expansion that they're doing, and while we didn't get all the juicy details on this, and I know that more announcements and more things will be rolling out as time goes on around this, what me and Amjad did discuss is that initially for the onboarding, at least for the first year or two, when it comes to this, the terms will be very generous. And so that leads me to believe that it will be even better than the 70-30 split that we get on super thanks, super stickers, super chats, and channel memberships. You know that that's a 70-30 split. And then on ad revenue, we get a 55-45 split. And then on shorts, we get a pooled 45-55 split. This is starting to get a little confusing in terms of what the revenue sharing is looking like, but at least initially, it's going to be very generous for creators, and that sounds like it's going to be better than that 70-30 split. The other thing I've noticed as an education channel is that they are doing some tweaks on the back end of YouTube to let you classify your education-based content. And so that means that the YouTube uploader is likely going to change, and this might be an expanded product category. If you want to learn more about the creator monetization expansion that's going on YouTube, you should definitely watch the interview that I did with Amjad Hanif, YouTube's VP of Creator Products. I'm going to link to it in the description down below. If you're watching this video on YouTube, it's also linked in the info card. Now, this is exciting for me for a couple of different reasons. One, I think that for a lot of different creators, people who are in the productivity space, like, Ali Abdaal and Thomas Frank, this is going to be killer for them in terms of another monetization strategy, but it's also going to be great for artists on YouTube, DIY channels, crafting channels, and people who do tutorial content, tech, and general education. Language learning channels are going to benefit from this. Science channels might benefit from this. I think that this is a step in the right direction, and it's part of a larger online education initiative that YouTube is doing. I am going to try to specifically get somebody on the channel for an interview about this product as it launches and we get more details, because I really want to know what their thought process is behind this, but I do have some thoughts of my own. The online education business is worth billions, and as it is, some of the greatest people in the online education space are homegrown YouTube content creators. If you look at the success of things like Nebula and what they've been doing over there and how that's a creator-owned platform that is based around education and really solid learning content, then that's pretty prolific. And the thing is, that was built by homegrown content creators who are mostly YouTubers. Great education channels like SciShow and like Crash Course were built directly right here on YouTube. And YouTube is one of the largest how-to libraries on the entire internet. So the thing is, YouTube already owns a really strong sector of the education market when it comes to the creator economy, but what they don't own is the platform opportunities for structured learning content and direct compensation that exists outside of ad revenue for that content from people who are willing to support it not just with their eyeballs, but with their wallets. Learning platforms like Kajabi by themselves have billion-dollar plus valuations. Billions of dollars exist in this marketplace, and YouTube wants a cut of it. And as a result, there are many creators who are going to benefit, because not everyone can afford to launch their own and host their own online courses on these hosted platforms like Kajabi and Teachable and Padia, just to name a few examples. There are alternatives out there like Skillshare as well, and while that doesn't rely on ad revenue, it also doesn't necessarily have a direct payment transaction. It's pooled revenue through a subscription service, and the payout is based on watch time performance. What this shift in YouTube does is very similar to how creators now don't necessarily have to start their own membership website, pay for hosting, or they don't have to have their audience leave the platform to do something like Patreon or buy me a coffee. YouTube is creating something where it can live on YouTube for people who want that experience and don't want to have to go to another platform, which also makes it easier to just keep the engagement and connection directly to your audience and not overcomplicate their experience. So YouTube now gets the benefit from this new market sector. It gets to onboard creators who had barriers to launching their own courses. It lets them do it in the ecosystem of YouTube that they're already familiar with, and their audience will get what they're mostly accustomed to if they're willing to support it, no different than they do with channel memberships and that paid walled content. And while I know a lot of people have their criticisms of online courses, the most criticism I've seen is from people who've never used one or never bought one. And what I think is that with YouTube doing this offering and showing how creators can do both free and paid content, and by the way, this new structured learning content, there will be free classes that people can make available so that people can see what the experience of learning from them is like, and they could also have paid versions and they can charge what they like for those. And I think that that makes a lot of sense, because what it will do is it will teach consumers on YouTube how structured content works, how it's different from the standalone content on YouTube, which is not the best learning experience if we're all being honest. It's very distracting, and right when you get deep into a video, you get interrupted with an ad if you don't have YouTube Premium. That's not a great learning experience. And even if you finish something, like let's say you're doing a video editing tutorial, instead of watching another video on editing, what's in the left-hand corner? What's there distracting you? Oh, here's the latest viral video. Here's PewDiePie, here's Mr. Beast. It's not really as great for education as we make it seem sometimes. It's just that it's free and it's there. This is a step in the right direction when it comes to the benefits of structured learning and bringing that to YouTube. This is a step in the right direction with allowing education-based content creators who don't want to do overly complicated hosted platforms to go ahead and keep their audience on YouTube and still be able to deliver that extra value and have a new monetization system that they can take advantage of. And while we know YouTube is primarily used by people for entertainment, especially young people, again, this platform has been the backbone of online education for a lot of people because of the accessibility and the great user experience. But there have been flaws with it that this new program and monetizing education-based creators is going to actually address and solve. I also think that it does solve some of the skepticism, criticism, and problems people have with online courses, because they'll be able to go with the creators that they already like. And the thing is, they're in a system that they already know, YouTube. And so personally, I'm really excited for what this means. The courses that I'm looking at putting on this platform are things that I wouldn't really build a standalone thing on my own website for. I have awesomecreatoracademy.com. Right now, we don't really sell courses on that platform. It's mostly one-on-one coaching calls with me or the group monthly coaching membership where we do 2 live office hours coaching calls every week. That's my main thing on Awesome Creator Academy and my digital template bundles. The courses on YouTube is going to be interesting because what I can do is I can address topics that I want to do structured learning on that I normally wouldn't feel like going out of my way to build a course on that platform for, because I think it'll be easier to do on YouTube and it will make more sense for my audience. A primary example is I've been wanting to do some kind of course about being confident on camera and learning how to be a better presenter when it comes to doing videos. So I think that would be an appropriate course to do as a low ticket item that could be structured here on the channel. I also think another one that I might be interested in doing, I thought about doing this on Skillshare. Maybe I do it there, maybe it lives on channel. I have been doing public speaking for a number of years since 2015, and a lot of you have asked me questions about public speaking, but those videos don't necessarily get the most views on the channel. So maybe if I put together a complete guide to public speaking for beginners or public speaking for introverts specifically, that makes sense as a niche segment of the viewership would be willing to pay for that content behind a paywall and support it with their wallet, whereas the majority of the audience would not support it with their eyeballs. The other important nugget that goes with all of this is it's one more monetization system added to YouTube. It's part of expanding YouTube monetization and the partner program. And what I like about this is YouTube is giving us more options that exist outside of advertising revenue. And that's important because it means that creators and their audience get to decide the direction of their brand and their content more than the advertisers do. The more we as creators rely on ad revenue and brand deals, the less control we have and the less say the audience has in the direction of our content if we're going to produce it at the highest value and the highest quality in any consistent way and make it sustainable without burning out. So the more we get weaned off of relying on advertisers as our primary monetization, the better. Introducing more ways for creators to monetize is better. And this isn't the only expansion to creator monetization that is happening right now. I actually did a recent video on some new changes when it comes to YouTube, and that also includes YouTube shopping. I need to do a dedicated video because there is another announcement coming soon. Right now it's in beta and it is only applying to, I think, channels with 20,000 subscribers or more. But I think that this new thing is going to be really great and could completely be game changing. In the meantime, you might want to watch this video on 5 new YouTube updates you might have missed. Stay awesome, and I will catch you in the next video. Take care.